hop on, chop it up with individuals. See what's the talk of the town. It's going down. The word on the curve. You heard me. Whoopsie. Let me just set this up. Here in Southern California, it is hot as fuck, bro. It is a hot as fuck day. It's like a hundo right now. It's like the hottest day of the week. This shit is no joke. So probably not a good day to be out and about. Maybe until the sun goes down. But right now, oh no, it's still hot. It's like 90 still, like 90 some shit. So this shit is no joke. Let me just set this up. Alrighty. Now, for those who are curious, I did drop a new video on this channel and on my rap on the other channel. If you guys want to scope those out, so we got something over there and something over here. Oopsie. Okay. On this channel, it's I did a video about pretty much all snitches fall into the same category, right? It's not one is more bad than or worse than the other. What's good, bro? Just to say what up. Because school. Hey, gracias for just tapping in, bro. Hey, school's more important, bro. Go handle it. Gotta get that education, bro. The homie Derek is definitely up in the building. What's good, my loke? We chilling. You already know, chilling like a villain. Getting ready to make the bacon. That's right. The Skrilla illa illa illa. I feel you, bro. Right here, over here, it's fucking hot as fuck. How's the weather over there where you guys are at? Only I can talk about prison. I was in the chew. What about you? What's good, Jeshful? Yeah, I don't understand that. It's like only my stories are legit. Everybody else's stories are fake. I don't know why people get so worked up. You would figure it would be more of the active individuals that would get worked up about the nonsense, right? But it always tends to be the individuals that are no longer involved or fell off who tend to, have an uproar about things. Now tell me, individuals are not trying to paint themselves as gangster. I don't know. Where people be like, nah, man, they grown up, man, they left that life behind. They're family men now. Uh huh. Forgot that family men behave like that. Hey, don't be shouting me out, bro, because I still hold a certain status, and you shouting me out, might fuck up my status, that I'm still good. Like, no, you're not. Hi, hello there, new YouTuber. What's cracking, like Mr. Pastas definitely up in the casa for the raza? What's cracking, Loki? I'm definitely gonna scope out them songs you send me. On trip, potato chip. They send them papers to get out. Yeah, and some, even to give other people more time. It's crazy. They claim that they are just trying to save the youth from being brainwashed or groomed by gangs. Yet they're holding the same kind of rhetoric that's the opposite of that, right? Like, oh, I didn't snitch. Oh no, fuck no, I would never snitch, bro. Like, shit, I retired solidly. No, you did not. Why is it so hard to admit that you snitched? Why are you trying to uphold this image? I thought you didn't care for it. I thought you were really gonna help the youth. Looks like you're more trying to help yourself and how people view you, in my personal opinion. I'm a YouTuber. Oh, well, welcome. How do you feel about the ANLA? I haven't scoped it out. He made a new one? The last one I scoped out was the Echo Park one, I think. The youngsters doing hood vlogs showing off their areas. Hey, Ronnie NLA, he's grinding, he's doing his thing. He's right there doing his thing. It's funny they claim the area, but are quick to walk through and not be there. It is what it is. I can't speak if they are there or not there. You know what I mean? Those gang members turned on me. That's why I told you. That's what I told. They were like, yes. Serio. Did you look into little? Oh yeah, I did scope it out. Yeah, he is just some kid. He's just a child. I guess he just wanted attention. You know, like you can just tell off the bat that individual he did it as like he thought it was gonna be funny. He really doesn't want none of that kind of time. You know, he wasn't meant to be taken seriously. What are your thoughts on people who diss the Aryan Brotherhood and the Nazi lowriders? What do you mean? Well, I mean, it would be just like anybody else dissing any other gang, right? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's, a smart thing to do, but I would say that about any group, right? They cops to make. Cops are the biggest gang. Cops are the biggest gang? Well, yeah, some of them do move like a gang. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Some of them do have a chip on their shoulder instead of. They believe that their job is not to protect the people, but more to enforce, and rule over them. They feel like they're the ones in charge when it's like, no, actually the people are in charge. You work for them. They don't work for you. Like, that's stupid, bro. Who pays their fucking checks, bro? Your taxpayer money, no? You call them and they show up, right? You don't work for them. They work for you, goofies. People do not know their laws around this place. It's crazy. What do you think about ex-gang members be saying that they were turned on? That's why they... Oh, well, they're always going to look to justify their actions, that they're obviously not going to want to paint themselves as a bad person in the situation or selfish or just looking to, weasel their way out, right? So, of course, they have to paint themselves as the victim, right? Because they just can't go there and be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I participated willingly and I was, I thought it was all fun and games just like the rest of these individuals. But now that we got caught, I really don't want to do the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and blame these individuals just to, get less time. Right? Not going to sound all, it's not going to sound good if they come and are honest, right? Oh man, these individuals, man, they turned on me, man. I thought we was homies, man. Hey, bro, if they would have done that to you, bro, you would do the same as me, man. Oh, now you had, the realization, huh? Now you realize the calling? Funny how that works, huh? You just had to be put in this predicament in order for you to see that, huh? It could never happen before then, huh? It's even funnier when individuals who have snitched or fall off act like they are ready for all the smoke. I know, bro, like, you had your time for all of that and you showed your colors, so, like, why are you trying to put up this facade? I'm telling you, most individuals right off into the sunset, right? Like, most individuals just leave the life behind and they, right off, right? The weird ones are the ones that try to still pretend. That's the strange ones. Saludos, compa. Hey, likewise. What do you think about Weez Gotti from Richmond? Oh, I don't know who that is. I'm going to have to scope that out. Some people diss the white gangs in prison for being racist, not because of gang, but because they are racist. Yeah, well, certain gangs, right? Certain white gangs do run more on racism than, like, let's say, street activity, right? They do conduct themselves more in like because if that would be the case, then you would see like Hispanics or like blacks in their gangs, right? If it's just moving like a gang, right, where they don't care about that kind of stuff and they just care about like money and shit like that. But no, you have to be white in order to be a member. So they're more of the racist, type of groups, because if they weren't, they like I said, they would have at least one or two individuals, but they tend to not allow nobody that's not Caucasian. And they view everybody else as, beneath them. Now, individuals doing business, right? is a whole different thing than, let's say, you aligning yourself with these individuals compared to, like, work together to in order to bring the revenue because you're putting money above anything else. You know, because even, like, let's say, for example, when people be like, no, well, how could they be, doing business together if they don't like each other and shit like that? Here's an example. The United States and China and Russia clearly do not like each other. They don't like each other. Who the fuck are we kidding? They do not like each other. You right? We are all aware of that. But yet, when it comes to business, they do business together. They all do business together. Even though we clearly know that none of these sides like each other. But yet, when it comes to money, you see people are willing to put their differences aside, to earn the bacon. The power of money. When people be like, how's that possible? Well, how is it possible for the countries to be doing business together? They clearly don't like each other. Nazi lowriders were white boys, Southern Cali, the rest of the West. Can you say long live Nicky? Still hating on Capone. Hey, some flames don't die out. I've seen some people say that they were pressured by their family members to leave the life and snitch. Thoughts on that? I believe that, their family could, how can I say, like, get through to them, right? But that doesn't excuse their actions, though, right? Like, you were a willing participant, but now you're just gonna blame these individuals to save your own ass, right? And I can see why your family would want you to do that because they want you home, right? But that's still, but by you now blaming other people for your decisions isn't the right thing to do either way, though. But I could see why families would do that, though, you know, because they're just looking after themselves and their situations. I heard some people tell me that the AB and use racism symbols. People, most members are racist. I don't know. Like, I don't dive into, like, their inner workings and stuff like that, right? Because there's still, groups that, you know. So I'm not gonna come and say, how they move or why they move or how, you know what I mean? Capone's not the biggest rapper, but the fools put on for the homies. Yeah, I have always said this. I know Mr. Capone. What he's done for the raza, right? He's put a lot of people on, and he's done good. He's done good, right? But I wouldn't say that, like, I was a fan of his music, right? But I can acknowledge, that he was, in his times he was successful, and he was putting people on, and he was doing, he was at least, trying to earn these individuals some form of revenue. At least he was taking a chance on them, when others wouldn't. Even though, like I said, maybe the fan base wasn't as big as, like, let's say, other groups, right? But nonetheless, they were still getting known, and people were still, knowing who these individuals were because of, him and what he was doing. Now, I'm not saying he was perfect and he didn't make his mistakes or he wasn't, like, doing some stuff right, but I mean, I can at least recognize what he did accomplish. I know people just give him a hard time because he's not raza, right? But I mean, he never claimed to be raza. And obviously, him being the way he is in his lingo and the way he looks, right? Well, he grew up amongst these individuals. He was actually from a gang, and he grew up amongst it. So I could see why he's like that. Not like he just came out of the blue, out of nowhere, and uh, portrayed himself to be this way, right? Yeah, some of the blacks keep thinking Raza is doing business with whites, and them having an alliance. Yeah, I know, but people are gonna say whatever they. People are gonna say whatever they like, let's say they seen an interview on YouTube, right, or like, let's say, Gangland, right, and just because they seen something like that, right, they feel like, oh, see how these individuals get it when they actually truly don't know. You know what I mean? because there's other incidents to those kind of stories, right? Like conflicts between the two groups, right? And bodies that have fell between the two groups, but they don't ever bring up that topic, right? Or talk about those moments, or talk about those conflicts, right? They only highlight the conflicts that fit their narratives. How come they don't talk about when the South Sides and the whites go at it, right? How come they don't talk about and discuss those moments? Why do they choose to neglect those moments and those stories? Come on now, because it doesn't fit their agenda. It doesn't fit their propaganda. You know what I mean? For those who be like, nah, that's why they align themselves with them in there. Bro, amongst these individuals, there's no allies. It could crack up between anybody in there, bro. The only color that matters in there is green, and green only. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, if it doesn't fit their narrative, they're not gonna tell you the facts of things. That's why whenever they talk about those stories, I don't ever come and say anything, because it's like it's a waste of time. I mean, if it's not true, like, what does it matter either way? What are your thoughts on the situation in the streets life where you have been chosen between putting your gang first versus family? I would like to make a video. I have never heard of such a thing. You are never asked to put your hood before your family. Now, like different organization, like let's say if we're talking about different groups, like like higher groups, that's a whole different story. But like let's say street gangs don't ask that of their members. You know what I mean? Street gangs will never ask that of their members. Now, different groups, if you're involved in different stuff, then that's a whole different story, right? That's out of my realm and out of what I can touch on, right? And they have their separate different rules and how they work. You know what I mean? Okay. El Honda Accord is chingon. That's right, my boy. I told you. I know in Nevada prison last year, it was massive between the South Side and let me give you context. What you have pushed your family member, if they have snitched. Yeah, but see, that's the thing though. If like let's say, if he snitched, meaning he's a member of the neighborhood as well. So we're talking about another member of the neighborhood, right? It's no longer about like a family thing, right? He's another member of your neighborhood. You get me? So it doesn't work the same, right? Like let's say, would you push him away, or would he get the same type of punishment? Because we're not talking about punishing just a family member here. We're talking about another member from the neighborhood. They don't get special privileges. People don't get special privileges. It would be different. Let's say if this individual, this family member, isn't a part of the neighborhood, right? And it's just a regular family member. That's different. You get what I'm saying? There's no cholos like you used to see back in the 90s. Where did they go? Like, what do you mean exactly, though? Now, why you don't see stuff the way how it used to be before is that the laws were different back then. Individuals were able to get away with shit a lot easier back then, right? You didn't have to worry about, before, you could just be posted and they couldn't tell you nothing, right? But now they have the no loitering, right? So if you have no business being there, they can arrest you. You know what I mean? So it's not as easy as before, right? Now people have to adapt to the new rules, the new laws, right? These gang members have to adapt to the new laws in order to still be able to function the way they function, right? Because if they would try to do it like how they were doing it back in the 90s, they wouldn't last. They have to adapt with the times, No longer. Yeah, because like I said, back then, you were able to do that. The cops weren't able to tell you a damn thing, right? But then when new laws come into place now, where there's like the no loitering, they can't be there like they used to be able to be there before. You know, before, what could the cops take them for? Nothing. Now you could say, no, well, being members of the arrest you for being a member of a neighborhood, bro. You know what I mean? They can arrest you for you doing the crime. Some people like Whack 100. Serio. Now it's more dangerous than before. Now, you know, you don't see them there and you think it's all gravy. People are cool. They're just walking, and next you know, these fools come out of nowhere like ninjas, and it's a wrap. Before, you used to see, like, you turn into a street, you see 30 motherfuckers, you're like, okay, let me go around, or let me go, you know what I mean? But now you see nothing and you're thinking, oh, it's all gravy. Next you know, you're getting shot up. It's a lot more deadlier now. They put in their work and they did. Put some respect on that. He's been staying strong and holding it. Some people are like, well, I just do with some snitches and give them passes. I think a lot of black kids do that for some reason, especially. Nah, see, I wouldn't necessarily say that that's what black hoods do that, right? Whack 100 is like, you know, he may say that he's all gravy and it's all good, and maybe some people believe that stuff, right, and buy that stuff. But you know, if you hear the members from his own neighborhood, I mean, they have a different opinion on Whack, right? You know. But sometimes, you know, influence and money make people be able to be, you know, turn the other cheek to certain shit, right? Because it's different for Whack being like he's a businessman, right? He's making business moves. It's kind of like saying, for example, let's say you're a solid homie, right? And you're solid, you never debrief or, you know, rolled it up or nothing like that, right? And you open a restaurant or you open a clothing store. Okay, so you open your own clothing store or a restaurant, and now people are coming into your restaurant or your store and buying stuff. For all you know, these individuals could probably be snitches or rapists or pedophiles. You don't know. You truly don't know if these individuals are that or this or this, you know? But hey, you do business, you take their money, they buy their product, they leave on, and then, you know, your homies be like, hey, you know that vato's a snitch or whatever. But you're a businessman, right? Like, you're not, right now it's not, you know, gang banging time and everything. You're running a business, right? So it's like, what would you put rules in front of your business, being like, oh, if you have ever snitched, don't come into my restaurant, or don't come. You get what I'm saying? So it just works. It just works different if we're talking about, you know, you running whatever type of business you're running. Like, say for example, what Whack does. Even though he does pull off that, no, well, he's still gangster and everything like that. That's why he's an individual that gets a lot of ridicule and people are questioning him. Like, well, shit, real gangsters wouldn't do this, isn't that right? And he can't be mad at individuals for seeing it that way because they have a right. I mean, they are right, actually. Rappers hanging out, calling houses. See, they're just looking after themselves. Maybe like this fool's like shooting them some feria, and they're just. It's a dirty, dirty game. Even when the rappers have had it there. And why expose it? Yeah, that's a trip. I don't understand that myself. Right? That to me is just weird, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's just it's not cool, but I mean, I'm not saying that people have to take action, but like, let's say hanging around with the individuals is just strange in itself. You know, because then it's like you're willing to throw your morals away for money. That's a trip. You know, then you really don't have any morals then. If there's a price on them, then truly are they morals? Yeah. Well, I can't say like if these individuals actually mess with these individuals, right? Like we can say because we see it, like let's say for example in the comments. But like I said, in the comments, people could just be pretending, you know, to be certain individuals, right? Like you truly don't know if these individuals are actually good or not. Because on the internet, a lot of people like to pretend, and maybe they pretend to be active homies just to, I don't know, fuck with him to make him feel like he still got it like that or something like that. It would be different. Like, let's say if there's actually, video of active individuals hanging out around with these individuals, like, hey, there's a homie right here, then that's different. You know what I mean? And there could be some individuals that just are not even functioning no more, and just, that's probably why they are still messing around with them. Shit, some individuals could probably not even know, right? Because not everybody's just always on the internet and, like, up on game on everything. Like, let's say, like, maybe most of my homies probably don't even know that fool is no good no more, because, like, why would they care about his status, right? I mean, who is he to us? Meaning, like, to our neighborhood, right? Like, they would have no interactions with that individual, so why would they even know that information? It's not like as soon as someone's no good, it gets passed, the word gets spread to everybody, right? See, I didn't even know that. See, like, that part that you just said where Roll Call Status did a video where, yeah, lunch with. See, I didn't even know that. That's new to me, right? Because, like I said, nobody, like, not everyone just, like, follows these individuals and, like, is up on game on their moves and shit like that. Because it's just like, you know, it really doesn't catch my attention of, like, what he's doing and stuff like that, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, my lunch break is over. We got to get back to it. It was good chopping it up with you guys, and we out.